Men need sex to have connection. Women need connection to have sex.
What do men get wrong about this?
That's a great question. Men think they need the skill. They feel like they need to learn different techniques.
What skills do men need to develop?
Presence. Men can easily relearn it. It's not a difficult skill. Stay present no matter what. And the question is, would you rather be right or be in love?
Laurie, let's begin with the idea of sex getting better over time.
Okay.
I'm in an 18-year marriage. I subscribe to this idea that it can get better over time. Why, in your experience, is that true? And is it true for most couples that it gets better over time?
No. So when I wrote this, it wasn't really about a couple. It was about a person, like people. Most people think when they hit 50, they're going to dry up, just dry up and nothing's going to happen anymore. Like sex is going to be over for them.
Yeah.
And that's not true, but it does require different things and effort. When it comes to a couple, it also requires different things and effort. Mm-hmm. So after the honeymoon phase, which ends for most people after 1 or 2 years, or if in that 1 or 2 years they have children, then things change. And during the course of a lifetime, everything changes. So it requires effort. Effort, what do I mean by that? Maybe it requires making a set date night. Maybe it requires learning to dance. Maybe it requires having conversations about their sexuality. Most people weren't trained to do that.
Right.
And in my experience, the genders, if we're talking about heteronormative people here, the genders speak different languages. So women complain, and that's really a hidden request, but they don't know how to request because they were taught not to directly say things. Right. And women are afraid they're going to hurt men's feelings if they say, "Hun, that time last night wasn't so good." So how do we broach this and speak about that? So it requires some training.
Yeah. And where would somebody start? I mean, obviously, find you, learn it, lean into your work. And maybe that is the answer, but is there another answer as to if somebody's waking up to this idea that they want their sex life to be improving over the years and it's not, what's step one for them?
Find a course, find a training somewhere. It could be my training, it could be my couples training, or my singles training, but it could just be like, oh, there's a whole world. Most of us were taught to be like talking heads. Yeah. This is the only thing that's important, what goes on between these ears. And in fact, we're whole bodies, we're holistic beings, and most people are just waking up to the fact now. And I don't even I think only the cutting edge and then some have discovered that most people are living mogul lives or whatever. Like they don't know that at all, or they're still governed by some fear or shame.
Yeah. Is Tantra something that you do? You're like, I'm going to do Tantra for the next 15 minutes, or through that, transformation through pleasure, is it like through your daily life? You could have a cup of coffee and be practicing Tantra because it's heightening all your pleasure senses, or,
That's such a good question. So Tantra is a science, a philosophy, and a set of practices. And people approach it from all different aspects. There are some people who are just scholars who read the ancient Vedic Tantra scripts, and some of them read them in Sanskrit, and that's it. They study it in their head. There's other people who just do the practices. And there's people who come to it because they think it's some kind of esoteric sex, and they're going to, it's going to be like the new hip thing. And it's a pathway into your whole self and to really expanding yourself if you practice the practices, do the readings, chant the chants, make the sounds. It's breath, sound, and movement.
Breath,
when
sound,
boiled down into everything. You breathe.
You're not like most men. You don't just scroll, you study. You don't just parent, You lead, and you don't just read, you implement. And that's why we made this, a no-fluff, battle-tested list of books that sharpen men like you. Picked by our tribe, proven in real life, these books are going to stretch your mind, fuel your growth, and challenge who you thought you had to be. These aren't just great reads. They're tools to help you grow as a father, husband, and a man. Get the list and all the insights that bring it to life at frontrowdads.com/books.
And then you come out with some sound. Listen, in the beginning, I was in a bar, and there were two guys, and they said, "So, what do you do?" I said, I do a kind of yoga." Like, I had to say it like that because nobody knew.
Yeah.
So they said, "What kind of yoga?" Like down dog and shavasana posture? And I went, "No, it's sexual." And then they said, "Well, like, what do you do?" And I said, "Breath, sound, and movement." And they said, like, "What kind of sound?" So I said, "Ooh, ah, ooh, ah." They said, "It can't be that."
That's funny.
Said, but it is.
Yeah. How is Tantra and sex and breath and sound and movement so important to the individual, the man or woman, becoming fully alive, finding more of themselves? Like, what is it about that specifically? Okay,
so if you look at the body as a set of chakras, the Indian or Hindu system of chakras, if we're being holistic and we're being totally in our body, then we look at each chakra, what's happening there. So we get in touch with our feelings. Most of the time, if I say to somebody, "How are you feeling?" they don't really know. Mm-hmm. So if you look in the body, it'll tell you, like, are you tight or loose? Are you cold or hot? Are there swirly things going on, or are you just numb? So part of it is looking at the body to find out a self-reference, like, where am I at any given moment? Then it's like, I see you're adjusting your body. So like you're getting in touch with, where am I right now? Am I comfortable? Am I not comfortable? Then there's things like your sex center, which is your center of creativity. So it creates babies, and we don't actually know how that happens. We know a sperm fertilizes an egg, but we don't know how the miracle of birth and life gets created. And in humans, more can get created than just babies. Like, every species creates offspring. So they can do that, but a dolphin or a whale can't create a computer or a microphone or a cell phone or a camera. So humans' center of creativity is also in the sex area, and that's really connected to the speaking. So it's holistic in the sense that if I'm blocked in my sexuality because of religion or because of my parents or because of a trauma that happened to me early in my life, I'm also blocked in being able to speak my truth and share my ideas about things and my creativity. So it's looking at the whole being, and sex is the creation and central to everything, not just baby making.
Yeah. I've heard somebody say sex magic at one point.
Oh, yeah.
And the way I understood that was perhaps in a moment of climax or ecstasy, you are almost, creating and manifesting.
You are.
Calling in whatever it is that you want. Do I have that definition?
You do.
Fairly accurate?
Sex magic is using your orgasmic moment to fulfill your intentions. So you set your intention before a sex act or sex event. And then at the moment of orgasm, if you're really on it, you visualize, you speak, and you let go then of whatever the intention is. So I handed you 2 books before, and they were both created through sex magic. I've started and produced 3 films. They were created through sex magic. I have a partner that I married late in life. He was created through sex magic.
Why does it work, in your opinion?
Because it's okay, so we have to roll back to other schools of transformation.
Okay.
So in other schools of transformation, there's the power of declaration. So the universe is abundant. It has everything This is like a super spiritual lesson, you know. The universe is abundant. It has everything, but it can't give me what I want unless I narrow it down to what do I want. If I ask people, what do you want? Mostly they know what they don't want.
Mm-hmm.
They can tell me from today till tomorrow, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. But I say, no, what do you want? If you know what you want and you narrow it down and you put your sexual energy behind it, then the universe can give it to you and rather quickly, because you're using all your energies of creation. So if I declare, this shall be. So, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. Is it that long? Maybe 8. This couple that I was introduced to said they wanted us to come, Michael and I, to come to work with couples with them. Oh, no. We said we wanted to work with couples, and we used sex magic for that. A couple of days later, somebody introduced me to this couple, and they said they want us to come to their retreat in Spain and work with couples that they had. And that got produced like in 2 days.
Wow.
And they said, tell us about sex magic. We went on a podcast with them, and they said, tell us about the sex magic thing. And I said, we created you through sex magic.
We gave birth to you.
Exactly.
That's cool.
But I've been known to do things like be having sex with someone. If I'm in missionary position, putting my legs over them and kicking them and going, how much money did you say you want? What are you trying to create? You know, like a horse.
Yeah, that's fun.
I have a lot of fun with it.
So it's easy we could easily say that sex can be used to create business or to create any of your dreams that you want to bring to life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they actually say that in Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, in chapter 11, it's funny that he named it chapter 11, but in chapter 11, where he talks about creating business and creating wealth, he talks about the fact that the founding people of industry, at least in the United States, knew about it.
Yeah.
And they threatened his life, supposedly, to not divulge in that chapter the names of the people. So I imagine it was the Fords, the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, people like that, the Kennedys even, who knew about that. At least the men of those clans knew about it.
What do men get wrong about this?
That's a great question. Wait, I have to take a question.
Because there's a lot of answers to this.
There are.
Yeah.
It depends on how you want to cut this pie. So first of all, there's a couple of cosmic jokes that men don't know and women don't know. And so I just want to put them out there. I don't know why they were created this way, but the cosmic jokes are, 1, when women feel pleasure, they want everything to slow down. And when men feel pleasure, they want everything to speed up. It's just what feels pleasurable to them in different bodies. So no one tells us that. So then we end up being frustrated with our partners, or they end up thinking they did great, but not so good. So that's 1. Another cosmic joke. When women get oxytocin in their body, let's say they make love, that oxytocin stays in their body for 2 weeks. So a woman doesn't really need necessarily the same kind of attention a man does. A man, when he gets oxytocin in his body, it lasts for 2 days. So when women say, oh, he's just trying to get laid, that guy's just trying to get in my pants, all they care about is sex. Yeah, because men need sex to have connection. Women need connection to have sex. That's another one.
Yep.
So when we look at these things, when we take them apart and we try to explain them to people in different genders, they can give themselves a little bit of breathing room. There's a bigger permission field to get it wrong. It's just like that. So men also, so my husband did a study of 300 men and women, and he asked them what percentage of the time was a 10 out of 10. Men said 30%. Of all the times they ever had sex,
it was a 10 out of 10.
That was a 10 out of 10, 30%.
Okay.
Women said
2%.
2%.
Okay.
So then we said, okay, who's getting this wrong? Like, either women aren't telling the truth,
Yeah.
Or men think they're doing better than they are, and they're not asking.
Because it wasn't just a 10 out of 10 for them. It was a 10 out of 10 they thought for their partner also?
He didn't ask that.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so that's one piece.
Yeah.
Then he asked women what would make a 10 experience for you. He went back and 100 women said, what would make this a 10 experience is number 1, presence. No, presence.
Okay.
Number 2, connection. Number 3, safety. Number 4, communication. And number 5, skill.
Yeah.
But men think they need the skill. They feel like they need to learn different techniques and different quick things to do. I've seen them do like party tricks. In some ways, you don't know what I've seen, but I've seen like some amazing things.
Let's get into all that, Laurie.
And when men were asked what would make it a 10 experience, men said, she looks hot. Let's see. I know what 3 is. She looks hot. I can't remember what 2 is. I think she's into me. And 3, she surrenders.
Yeah, sure.
So it's difficult. It's like when I say we're talking different languages, I mean we're talking different languages. So the hardest thing is to be able to speak about it. When we invite couples to our class, usually, I'm not going to say it's always men who resist, because sometimes the man wants to come and the woman's resisting. But lots of times when we just tried to do skills classes for men and teach them about presence, et cetera, they said, no, I got this. Because men really don't talk about it. But women, you have a couple of cocktails, they talk about the whole thing. Yeah. Then he did this, and then we did this, and then we tried that. Did you ever do that? Women talk about that. Men don't so much. I used to think they did. But they don't. They just go, did you fuck her? Yeah. Was it good? Right. Great.
What skills do men need to develop?
Presence.
That's the first one.
Number 1, presence.
And what does that look like? How does a man know if he is present or not present? And how can he practice that skill?
Well, he has that innate skill because men used to be the hunters that would have to know how to throw a spear or a stick or something at a running deer or a boar or whatever it was. So men innately have presence inside. It's just that it's been neutralized by screens and scrolling and cell phones and all the things that we have. But men can easily relearn it. It's not a difficult skill.
How do they do that?
So there's an exercise where we teach them. There's quite a few actually exercises where we teach them to be able to stay present no matter what. Shiny object thing, shiny thing going by. Nope. Stay present, stay present, stay present. And also ways of syncing up. So a very simple way, I'll just give you one piece of it. A very simple way is to start breathing with your partner. Right. Like you just get in sync with breathing with your partner and watching. And also men, I like to say that men should look at their partner's face. When you're having sex, everything is written on the face. If you're looking at other places because you're like astounded by the body that you're with, that's great. And keep looking at the face. Right. The face tells it all.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mindfulness, meditation, practices.
All that helps. Yeah. All that helps.
Yeah. That's good. We talk about that a lot in Front Row Dads. In fact, we just wrapped up an event here in Arizona where we're chatting, and we had 50 men for 3 days. And one of the practices was, mindfulness, stillness. And I was sharing my experience coming out of a 10-day Vipassana, which was the most challenging thing
I imagine
ever. And I can feel that I have more capacity to hold, stillness, or presence, because that's what we practiced, which is fascinating.
Beautiful.
Laurie, talk to me about the healing piece of this too, because to what degree is all of what we're speaking of healing to an individual? I wouldn't have normally thought about sex or that, as a healing process, but tell me what I need to know about that.
So first of all, Marvin Gaye was right.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Probably nobody knew it then, but Marvin Gaye was right about sexual healing. Right. It's really important. So in sex, we have the brain cocktails of oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, endorphins. All really, really, really important for the brain and all really important for people to feel good. And then there's the chakras again, going back down to the chakras. So in the first chakra, which is where we sit, our anus, anal sphincter muscles, sits bones, but housed in that is the first stuff: safety, security, family of origin, decade we were born in, what was happening in the world when we were born. So that's a sex area, the first chakra. And the second chakra, the sex area, is a sex area. Things happen. The first chakra is all about survival and safety. The second chakra is about pleasure and pain. So if something happened to us, which I don't know anyone that something didn't happen to.
Right.
I don't care if it was a sexual like a violation, or it was the school bus splashing mud. You're waving to your little kids' friends when the school bus drops you off and the splashes come on and a person is humiliated. That memory gets stored in the sex.
Interesting.
And so do the memories of sexual trespass.
Right.
Or alcoholism and violence and yelling and what have you. All that stuff gets stored in the memory of pleasure and pain, which is the sex area. In the first chakra is if your family didn't have any money, if you were in a war-torn country, if your family split, was separated, if you were separated from your family, all the things that could happen. I mean, the variations go on and on. All that stuff is in the first chakra. So when we actually do Tantra or tantric practices, these things start coming up.
Yeah.
They come up in memories, dreams, it's kind of disbelief, maybe like in storytelling or what have you, but they come up. One, we can self-heal by doing the practices, but two, and this is what's known as sexual healing, there are practitioners who go inside the body and point light into a place, into the dark cavities, and say, okay, how can you heal yourself from whatever this is? Maybe you remember it, maybe you don't.
What practice is that? I mean, I just had this visual of somebody putting a flashlight in somebody's vagina. Am I wrong on that? Is that
no, they
metaphorically speaking?
Yeah, they would put a finger or two in somebody's anus or somebody's vagina.
Interesting.
And then they would just hold space.
Yeah.
And they would hold space while the person, they might do something like called going around the clock, which means they just move just gentle movements to find places that are hot, cold, numb, or pain. And then they might just hold there and while the person breathes and works through it themselves. So all kinds of things happen during those things.
To my left brain guys out there who are more logical thinkers, when we say something like a chakra, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, wait a minute, what? This kind of sounds a little too out there for me to land on this.
Yeah.
What would you say to those guys? Is there science behind it? Is it just,
I don't know if any real scientific studies have been done on it. I can't say.
But it's been around for...
It's been around for a really, really long time.
Years.
There were temples where people used to go. So the story goes, there were temples in most cultures where if men went to war, before they came home to go to their village or to their families, they had to have a session with a priestess who took them through a similar process so that they become embodied again because of the terror and the horrors that they saw. Because everything was hand to hand then. It wasn't like push a button and a nuclear explosion goes off. It was, I might be fighting against my cousin who lives in the next town.
Yeah.
So they did have temples like that. They were all destroyed. I'm not going to start like blaming the religions and things. I don't want to like get on a tangent about that, but they were destroyed, and what we know as patriarchy came in through various conquests, let's say, of religion.
I want to be thoughtful in how I phrase this question. It has to do with boundaries, and it has to do with teaching people how to treat us. And, in relationships, and especially in areas where I imagine for lots of couples that you work with, the realm of sex or the energetic elements of sex, the attraction, the masculine, feminine polarity piece, there's probably a lot of edges that get pushed for people, right? And, one thing that I think I've always wrestled with is in my own life, in my intimate partnership, but also probably outside of that as well, it probably shows up lots of places, is this idea of having a boundary and having a standard, and at the same time, just being compassionate for people's humanity. And especially in areas of love where, if a client does something that I don't like, it's so much easier to be like, boundary, done, out of my life,
right.
Very easy, or a lot easier.
Yeah. But
with a partner, your husband or your wife, I imagine that's much trickier ground when you're in a committed, I'm in this, through thick and thin till the end type of relationship, or at least that's the desire. So talk to me about how we can have boundaries, self-respect, standards, and at the same time, be forgiving to a partner that's learning and growing and probably doing things that are inappropriate at times.
It's great. Great question. It's a lot of questions in there.
Yeah.
Let's roll them back for a minute and just say my pet peeve. This is my trigger. My pet peeve is Walt Disney telling you and me and everyone we know that they would meet the right person and live happily ever after when we've never studied one skill about making that happen. I bet you learned algebra, geometry, earth science, foreign language, social studies, debate, who knows? And you never learned one thing about being in love. Not one thing, nothing. And all the songs that I sang and danced to, and maybe you sang and danced to, were codependency waiting to happen. So here we are. I had to just roll that back because I got to take a lot of blame and a lot of shame off of people trying to make it in relationships. We don't have one skill. So now I can answer you.
Okay.
I just had to say that because it's like...
Makes sense.
People don't want to come for help because a lot they're ashamed. They think they should know how to do it.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be this way, right?
If you had the slipper and the horse, you could put that slipper on my foot and ride me off into the sunset, and we'd be happily ever after. Sure. Okay, so now that I said that, because it's not your fault, my fault, or anybody's fault. It really isn't. Your boundaries protect your values. So part of being able to state your boundary to your partner is, this is my boundary. This is the value it protects. Can you honor it? That's like one way of saying it. And knowing what it is protecting, it's not just some random thing that you decided to put up. It's not a thing that's like, oh, I'm going to put it up and it's not important to me. And boundaries are mutable, so they change over time. The more you trust someone, the less you need them. But all of a sudden, if there's no trust, then you need them again. So boundaries are like these things that come, and they serve the purpose of creating trust. All right, so that's one piece. How you negotiate, well, okay, then you were talking about like forgiving, which is forgiving. I know you know that, but I'm saying it out loud.
Sure.
Forgiving means I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I love you, and so I'm not going to forego my boundaries, but I'm going to give you some generous interpretation that you actually didn't mean to hurt me or you didn't mean to trespass me. Even those people who violated us when we were younger, the aunts and uncles who had to pinch us or worse, they didn't mean to violate us. That's what they thought they were supposed to do. Another piece is, and this is what my husband and I talk about a lot in our classes, the first person to return to love wins. So if I win because I leaned in, then you also win. It only takes one to lean in. And the question is, would you rather be right or be in love? And so that's always the question. That question should be like, the the teleprompter, behind every partner's head as we face them should be, would you rather be right
Totally.
or be in love? And then you work it out. And if it's unworkable, then you don't. But if it is workable, you try every way you can to lean in.
Tell me about trust and broken trust and rebuilding trust. If there's
it's hard.
Serious breach, do you find that couples are able to come back from that?
I do think they can, and I think it's not easy, and there's no formula. I don't have I have a lot of formulas. I don't have a formula for that. It's, again, I got to weigh it out and say to myself, would I rather be right or be in love? Is this person forgivable? Was this a crime? Or was this just something that tripped my trigger circuit? How bad was the breach? I have to figure it out. And I wouldn't try to do it alone. I will say this. A lot of times people are in this isolation, like the moat that they dug around themselves in a relationship. They need help. So I would say to get help and weigh out, is this worth salvaging? And then can I let it go?
Yeah.
It is possible to let it go. Think about friends that you have. There are probably some trespasses that they made that you have. I have lifelong friends. I don't know about you, but I definitely have lifelong friends. And some of them have done the stupidest, untrustworthy things. Mm-hmm. And I've forgiven them. So why wouldn't I forgive my partner?
Yeah. Where have you been hurt in your life, maybe the most in an intimate relationship, without exposing something about your partner or whatever that shouldn't be shared? I'm not asking for that.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, where have you experienced the biggest pains?
Yeah, not in my current relationship, but I've definitely been serially cheated on. Lied straight to my face.
Yeah.
For me, that wasn't the big, for me, I have trouble with breaking of word.
Breaking your word?
Yeah. So if someone gives me their word, they're going to do this, this, or this, I pretty much hold them to their word. They could tell me that they're going to change, that they're going to change their word. They don't want me to hold them to that. And that's okay. Like if they give me fair warning, but if they just continually break their word, sure. I can't. It's a hard one for me. It hurts a lot.
Laurie, I've got 2 books in front of me.
Yeah. They both titled the same thing.
Yes. Sex and Happiness, It Gets Better with Age. And Sex and Happiness, The Tantric Laws of Intimacy.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about these books for our listeners in case they want to pick one up?
Yeah. Or they can get on Audible.
Okay.
The first one is the Tantric Laws of Intimacy. I wrote it to demystify Tantra.
Right.
There's very few Sanskrit words in there. Mostly it's Americanized English. And it talks about the actual responsibility of a person for their own pleasure. And actually for their own life, like their own growth and development. And it gives 10 laws about how to live and then how to be relating to others. I start with number 10, law 10, which is make love in the unknown. So there's a practice that I do that you may have heard of. It's called Laurie Handlers. And Laurie Handlers is moving in the unknown. It's getting familiar and comfortable with not knowing. So law 10 is make love in the unknown. Like a lot of times people get into a routine. And I just told you that in dancing, like she gets surprised by how you're leading. So making love in the unknown is actually almost putting on blindfolds and making love without sight. Like being present to each other in a whole new way. So that's where the book starts, with dessert, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lead up to dessert.
Okay.
The second book, so I was in Greece. Sex and Happiness, It Gets Better with Age. So I was in Greece on a 4-hour ferry ride going to an island, and I was reading a book called What is Happiness and How Can I Get Some? And I didn't like the book. So I put the book down. I said, what am I going to do for the next few hours? And I said, I know, I'll write another book. So I wrote a book. I listed everything that I had done since turning 60, all the ways I've challenged myself from the moment that I turned 60.
Oh, interesting.
And then I decided not to keep 50-year-olds out. So I look at the demarcation line as 50. There are people under 50 and there are people over 50. Over 50, the terms of endearment, the terms of life become different. Like after 50, I stopped worrying about what other people thought of me. I don't really care what other people think of me. But I spent a lot of time wasted on worrying about, oh, I shouldn't have said this, or can I take that back, or did I look right?
I went to Jamaica one time and I went to a nude beach and I realized that like I thought I was going to see all these like 21-year-old hot models. I was young, right? And I walked down there and all I saw was people that were older than 50. And I was like, it hit me. That's why, because they finally just don't care what they look like and they're totally free.
Totally free.
Totally free.
So that book is 7 new laws. Well, actually one is the same. So I repeat one law, which is set your boundaries. Interesting that you asked me about that earlier. Set your boundaries is in the first one, and communicate them. And set your boundaries is in the second one, but when you're older, you need different boundaries. So if you're younger and you don't want people to put their hands on your body in a certain way, or you don't want to have sex with them too soon or whatever, then you have a boundary. In this one, you need a boundary around your money. Because when you're older, there's all these people trying to scam and scheme you out of the money that you worked so hard for. So I hear about that all the time. Yeah. So I put in a boundary. But 6 new laws, things like break your routines, shake things up. Try the things that you always put off, do them.
Okay, I got it. I'm going to dance.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got just try new things. Yeah. So that whole book is about keeping life fresh and staying sexy. Like the whole culture is set up to have us feel unsexy the minute we have one wrinkle on our face or our body looks a little different. We gain 1 pound. And I say it's not up to them. Yeah. Like we can be as sexy and as healthy as we choose to be. We don't have to buy into that. So the book is about all that, and some of the experiences I write about there are crazy. Like I can't believe I wrote them, but I did write them. And people reading it say to me like, this is great. This is totally inspiring me.
Laurie, what's one daily habit that a man could practice to bring him to more sex and happiness in his life?
Well, you know what I'm going to say, and you're not going to like it. So I dance.
I can't hear what you're saying.
I dance every single day. Yeah. My husband now dances every single day. Even if we dance, like he likes gangster rap.
I can't wait to meet him one day. It's great.
So he dances to gangster rap and I dance to, oldies. But dance is one, really having a practice of presence and a practice of returning to love. Like even if we've had harsh words, like sometimes we are impatient with each other and then he'll say to me, okay, return to love. Okay, I love you. And we actually drop it and just go, I'm returning to love. This is where I choose to be. I just have something tail spinning me right now. Some reaction that's really not important.
Yeah. Laurie, anything else you want to say to the front row dads out there?
Yeah. I think you know this, but I'm going to say it anyway, that your career success, I'm saying this specifically to men, your career success and what you've attained in your life is only one part of it. Like your relationships are just as important and the success of them are just as important. Like, yeah, I feel like you can relax a little on the one front and be more, and that's what I think your whole organization is about. Like you can be more involved with your feelings, with your emotions, with your expression, and with your partners and your children. And I think that's what you're aspiring to. So thank you. Thank you for that. I want to come and like be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, you should sometime. I think our guys
I would love to.
would love you. Yeah.
I would love to.
Laurie, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm glad we did this in person, by the way. I know we were originally going to do this, over Zoom or some video, but the fact that we're able to sit in person, here in Arizona makes me so happy. And this was such a rich conversation. And I really appreciate your vulnerability, your honesty, your vibrancy, and how you just own, who you are and what you want. It's really refreshing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. It's been enriching.
Thanks for noticing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, John, thank you.
Thanks for listening today, fellas. If you got value from this episode, I ask that you take 1 second right now and you share this with another dad in your life that you respect, that you know is committed to becoming a better man, family man, and businessman. And on that note, I want to honor you for choosing growth. Your family will thank you years from now for all the effort that you're putting in to learn the strategies so you can show up more fully for them today. Take care.